Trinidad and Tobago, Wendy Fitzwilliam. Hi, Wendy.
Hi, Lucy. How are you?
Wendy, you love singing, and your fantasy is to record a jazz album.
Oh,
You know where
no.
this is going. You know where this is going. Sing me a line.
Okay. I fell in love with you the first time I looked into then their eyes. You've got a swinging, cute way of flirting with. Then their eyes, they make me feel so happy.
I smell an album coming.
My goodness, Wendy Fitzwilliam there back in 1998, the Miss Universe
Wow.
pageant. Of course, we know how that went into history because she won. And guess what? She's here with us this morning inside the Now Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. Please say good morning to Miss Universe 1998, Wendy Fitzwilliams.
Good morning, Rakesh. How are you?
I am good. How are you doing this morning, Wendy?
I am great, thank you. Thanks for having me. I haven't seen that clip for a long time.
Well, glad to jog your memory. This morning, I want to find out some urban myth and legends of stories I heard about that pageant. But before we go down that road, this morning we're also celebrating Republic Day. Does that mean anything to you in particular, Wendy?
Yes, I think it should to all Trinbagonians. And apart from the obvious symbolism of noting this anniversary, also, I don't know if it's still the same at schools, but Republic Day always for us at the Martin Girls RC in my time meant more so than independence, because independence happened during the holidays, a celebration of our Trinbagonianists.
Mm-hmm.
And important to put those two together, Trinidad and Tobago, in the context of Republic Day. So I have very fond memories of, celebrating at school, going through that process of us becoming a republic as distinct from a independent country within the Commonwealth,
Mm-hmm.
and removing the Queen as our sovereign, the head of state, and really governing ourselves completely, which is what Republic Day really means.
Yeah.
We have had, like most young nations, a great time at it. I think we are in our teenage years as a country, so we're being a little bit naughty in some respects, but we're also flexing and finding our feet as a country. This is a very interesting time for Trinbago, and I think, as most, as a mom of a teenager myself, my son is now 15, I can tell you, there are a few moments of real nerves and fear. But I think if you lay a strong foundation, you make it out on the other side stronger, better for it, with a healthy young human being. And in this instance, I'm very hopeful that Trinidad and Tobago will come through this rather rough patch stronger and better, and a little bit more adult as a society.
You know, Wendy, when you represented Trinidad and Tobago in 1998, 1998, I was 18 years old. I can't even imagine what it is to be on that kind of world stage from this very small country. Were you intimidated by that at all? Knowing that Trinidad and Tobago, a lot of people probably didn't even know the name when you were in the competition. Were you intimidated by that any at all?
Natalie, not really, for a couple of reasons. And I think you can tell if you look at that show when I got nervous, and that was when I made the top three. One, I'm a Trini and therefore rather confident. And I've always been, like most of us, in relatively new situations, because you don't appreciate how diverse our country is. And how that diversity plays into your world perspective until you are outside of Trinidad and Tobago. And I mean that very, very sincerely. Our street food comes from almost every continent on this planet. And I can't say the same for a kid growing up in Texas or Wyoming or Lagos or Zanzibar even, right? So that's one. Two, the show is made for TV production. So you rehearse Miss Universe from the minute you arrive at the location of the pageant until the night of the show. every single day for like 3 weeks in my time. So you know your markers, you're comfortable with the host. They come in about a week before the actual competition. You get comfortable with everyone. So I honestly was having a ball that night, or rather that afternoon. It happened at 3 p.m. in Hawaii, so it would be in prime time for the eastern seaboard of the United States. And I got nervous, I will tell you, when I made the top 3. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I can actually win this. And then, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I have final exams at law school at Hugh Wooding in like 3 weeks. How am I going to pull this off? You know? So that's when the nerves, all of that was going through my head on stage as I competed, you know? I remember that very vividly because the first thing I said to the company was like, listen here, I'm so happy to be your new title holder, but I have exams in 3 weeks and we have to figure out how I'm finishing law school.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. And you did it, right? I'm sure that you did it.
Oh, yes, I had to.
Now, Wendy, at this point, I want to jump in and get into the urban legend part of things, right? There's a story that I heard about this competition, that when in the early stages of the competition, you know, there were lots of camera attention on other delegates. So like, for example, Miss USA, who, you know, the US media would have instantly followed. And I heard that you used that opportunity to be able to get into the spotlight a little bit to say, well, all right, if you're coming along, then you might as well take pictures of me too, because I here to show off as well, not so? Is there any truth to that story?
Actually, it didn't work exactly like that. Now, Shawnee, Miss USA from my year, is still a good friend of mine. She's married and living in Colorado now with 2 beautiful kids. My roommate, South Africa, Karishni, and I are also still in touch. She's a sweetheart. She was the first Indian, South African of Indian descent, to win Miss South Africa. She's an absolute sweetheart. And there are a few other girls that I keep in touch with. Oh, young women from the competition. Now, I won Miss Universe, if you remember, in 1998. The internet blew up in 1995 in the United States and globally in 1997. It's when it started to take off with our dial-up connections, etc. You can download a movie overnight, blah, blah. Right?
Overnight, yes.
That said, I didn't know when I got to Hawaii that Miss Universe is like a boxing match or like the Super Bowl of pageants. So people bet on the competition, just like the Olympics and the Super Bowl. People travel from all over the world every single year to support their girl, their favorite girls, etc. And there were already, what were they called in those days? Because we had no social media, but it was like chat rooms, I think it was.
Yeah.
That had already chosen me as a top 10 contender at Miss Universe. So I got to Hawaii a little bit disheveled because Life nightclub in New York City was hot at the time. My sister was studying at Baruch College. I had some fabulous friends from Barbados also there. So I partied like a maniac before I left New York to go to Hawaii. I show up exhausted, and they open those plane doors because it's a long flight from New York to Hawaii, let me tell you. And there was press waiting for me at the airport. And I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And the Latin girls who were also on my flight, so I flew from New York to Dallas, Dallas to Hawaii. The Latin girls came from their countries to Dallas, and we all moved on to Hawaii. Oh, they were fabulous. Sashes on, makeup, the whole nine. And I am looking like a dead, wet puppy.
Oh, there.
Right? because I'm exhausted. I've had a good time. And I just pulled myself together very, very quickly. And because I knew I would do okay at the competition, which gave me a little boost because of the way in which the girls and the producers of the show, the writers of the show reacted to me, I would say about 3-4 days out. So this is like just before the presentation show. Normally, you know, there are usually 90 odd women competing. And you wear a sash so they can identify you. And they learned my name. All of a sudden, I was no longer Miss Trinidad and Tobago or Trinidad and Tobago, stand here. Trinidad and Tobago, stop talking to Brazil. Come here, please. All of a sudden, I was Wendy, pay attention, you know? So it was clear that to me that they were taking note, and also the sponsors of the show choose the girls they want. You see those packaged pieces you see during the competition, showing off the swimwear or the jewelry or the whomever from the sponsors, the hair care products.
Yeah.
The owners of those companies or their representatives, their marketing teams choose the delegates. They would like to show off their products during the competition. And I was in almost every single one. And that's how I was like, hey, you're not doing too badly here, you know? At least your country will hear a little more than, hi, I am Wendy Fitzwilliam from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. I promised myself I would give my people a little more airtime than just an introduction.
And you definitely did a fantastic job. We are still in awe of you. Wendy, wanted to ask you, you know, young women watching right now, do you have any words of advice that you could give them to say, you know, it's okay, you can be beautiful, you can be intelligent, and you can make a difference?
Ooh, absolutely. And I think it's the advice is very cliche, but it's the advice that everyone who has achieved any level of success in any sphere gives to young people. Authenticity is the name of the game. And it's not always perfect. You dream, you plan, you work hard, you execute. You have to have the flexibility to adapt, because nothing, I promise you, in life goes exactly as you plan it. Absolutely nothing. So you have to have the flexibility to adapt, but not lose sight of your goal and be authentic to you. My journey is not anyone else's journey. You know, the people I admire, I draw from, but I don't expect my life to mirror exactly the lives of my heroes, women like Sharon Ember here in Trinidad and Tobago, Mei Ling, Audrey Hepburn, whom I've always admired. You know, my path has been very different, but there are elements of their lives and the character of those women that I really, really, really admire, and I continue to. And the other thing is to never be satisfied, to always want a little more. You know, I think complacency is a fate worse than death, in my opinion. Just being alive and existing and not being passionate about anything. You know, this pandemic has been very difficult in that regard, very, very tough, you know, in terms of our careers, our businesses. But we've had to find ways to adapt. I don't love, you know, yoga, and I never liked the gym, for example. But because I couldn't work out outside, I decided I would work out at home. I've always skipped like a maniac because it's something I can do on the go. And now I'm like a yoga fiend. You know, I'm planned to be standing on my head by the end of the year. Because it's something that I can do at home in the safety of my house. I've had to adapt, you know. I sucked at languages in school, and I'm now learning French. And don't ask me to say a word in French yet, because I'm not confident enough to do so. But I've spent a lot of time, you know, with both a French tutor and online, just trying to understand a new language, because I had the time to, you know, because so much of the things I did before, I could not at this time. So I think, you know, just not getting complacent, just always learning, finding new things, you know.
Wendy, take us out with a song. We do have to go, but
oh my gosh.
I had to go there, you know that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What? Oh, okay. So I have remade every Christmas carol, every hymn, and every song in the world for my darling son, who is now 15. So he'll kill me for this, and I can get away with it because he's away at school now. So this is one of my favorite Christmas songs that I remade for Alan. Are you guys ready?
After the song, just go straight to Billboard.
Are you ready?
We are ready.
All right.
Bring ting.
What child is this who lay to rest in Wendy's arms is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping. This is Elon, my King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Joy, Joyful Elan's born to be the son of Wendy. My God, I was so nervous doing that.
Oh my God, beautiful.
Have a great day, guys.
You too,
Oh,
Wendy.
too.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Excellent.